Good morning everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm Mysticle, and today I'll be bringing you a recap of the last week of AR and VR news. Some of these things you may have already heard of. There's chapters on this video that you can use to skip to the parts that you're most interested in. And just before we jump into this video, I just want to thank today's sponsor. Dungeons of Eternity is a brand new dungeon crawler that released for the Quest just a little while ago, and its creators, Othergate, have very kindly sponsored today's video for me to tell you about their brand new title. It's already got really high reviews, and I myself have been playing the game quite a bit. From the way that its physics work, allowing you to destroy basically any interactable object in the game, and it crumbles apart, to the fact that different enemies have different ways of being killed, to the fact that you open up potions by physically popping them open and spilling them onto yourself, and that animation is really satisfying, by the way. All that put together creates for a fantastic dungeon crawler. Oh yeah, and did I mention that the dungeons are randomly generated every time you jump in, allowing for basically infinite replayability? It's also multiplayer and allows you a ton of customizability by upgrading your weapons and customizing your avatar. In case you're looking for a dungeon crawler to play in virtual reality, I would definitely give Dungeons of Eternity a shot. Links to the game will be down below, and thank you so much once again to Othergate for sponsoring this video. And with that out of the way, let's jump right into the video. First piece of information that we have on hand is the one that I feel like most of you are going to be interested in, and that is the Quest Lite. As according to a Chinese analyst, the Quest 3 Lite will be using Fresnel lenses and could arrive in H1 2024 at $200 to $300. We know quite a bit about the Quest Lite already, even though Meta has not given us any official information officially. First of all, it is going to be much more affordable than the Quest 3, hopefully getting VR out to even more people, just like the Quest 2 did. However, it is going to be a cheaper version of the Quest 3, and that's probably where the Fresnel lenses are coming from. Earlier this year, Meta's internal roadmap leaked to The Verge, revealing the company planned to release a new headset in 2024, at the most attractive price point in the VR consumer market. That part is official. Last week, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman reported that this headset looks a lot like the Quest 3, but uses less costly components, and described it as a mixed reality headset. These components suggest this cheaper headset could have a similar sensor suite and also use pancake lenses. However, a Chinese analyst who has been reliable in the past claims it will actually use the old Fresnel lenses and have only black and white pass-through, focused on VR rather than mixed reality. He claims the product may be named the Quest 3 Lite and launch at $200 to $300. This is much closer to what I think Meta is going to show us. A much cheaper device, possibly without those pancake lenses, making it a bit bulkier, and most definitely without that depth sensor. Or else it would be competing quite directly with the Quest 3, which I doubt they would want, especially if it also had pancake lenses. Fresnel lenses are certainly a downgrade to pancake lenses, and it's also one of the main reasons quite a few people are upgrading from the Quest 2 to the Quest 3. However, if it was this much cheaper, I can see a lot of people wanting this instead. Or it could try once again convince people that think mixed reality and virtual reality are a gimmick to try it out, hopefully getting them interested in the topic, and maybe in the future going for something like a Quest 3. Let me know your opinions on this one down below. Talking about the Quest 3, people have already been jumping inside and tearing it down, including one of Right to Repair's largest companies, iFixit, as iFixit has done another teardown of the Quest 3, just like they did with the Quest 2. And this teardown reveals just how large the battery is in this headset and how much space it takes up. Really makes you wonder how thin they could make this device if they had thrown the battery into the back. This would probably make it the best balanced VR headset on the market, but they didn't do that. To quote from Upload VR, iFixit disassembled Meta's new headset to assess its repairability and find out what's inside. iFixit's teardown shows that the combination of the slimmer visor and larger battery means the battery now takes up almost all the internal component space when the front plate is removed. It really shows you how much of a problem batteries are in today's technology. They take up probably the most space, including in our smartphones, and also quite a bit of the weight. If we could remove them, we could make things like headsets and phones so much thinner, which is why the promise of wireless power could seriously come into play here. I mean, Xiaomi and other companies have already tried this in the past, but it hasn't really caught on. Either way though, I cannot wait for the day when we have wireless power, both for phones and headsets. It shows you how much thinner this could be without that. In case you want to watch the full teardown or read the Upload VR article, links will be down below. Meta has released experimental Quest 3 depth API for dynamic occlusion in mixed reality. Dynamic occlusion is going to be something I am super excited for in mixed reality on the Quest 3. Currently, it's not active, and they could be using that depth sensor inside the Quest 3 in order to create occlusion with your hands. You know, currently right now, if you have a window floating in mixed reality and you try to put your hand in front of it, it won't work. Your hand is actually just going to go behind the window. And that's why this depth occlusion is so important. And Meta has released a depth API for the Quest 3 as an experimental feature for developers to test mixed reality dynamic occlusion. Developers can already implement dynamic occlusion for your hands by using the hand tracking mesh, but few do this because it cuts off at your wrist, so the rest of your arm isn't included. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Currently, in our hand tracking, we do only see our wrists. So even if developers were to utilize that mesh in order to create that dynamic occlusion, it would quite literally end right here, meaning the rest of your hand would still be invisible, and that would ruin the immersion. Never really thought about that, but that is really the case. The new depth API gives developers a per frame course depth map generated by the headset from its point of view. This can be used to implement occlusion, both for moving objects and for finer details of static objects, since those may not have been captured in the scene mesh. Dynamic occlusion should make mixed reality on the Quest 3 look a lot more natural, and I think that's an understatement. It would make AR look the way it's supposed to. So I cannot wait for that to be more mainstream. The more expensive Quest 3 is apparently selling better than Meta thought. A few videos back, we talked about how the Quest 3 was apparently not selling as well, according to Minchi Kuo, but now we have some good news, as the 512GB model of the Quest 3 is apparently more popular than Meta expected. Road to VR has checked stock availability for direct purchases from Meta.com for the Quest 3 128GB and the Quest 3 512GB across all regions where headsets are sold. The latest shows the most regions estimate delivery of the 128GB model within 1 week, but the 512GB model won't deliver for a week or more in most regions. I feel like a lot of people that bought the 128GB model are using it actually for wireless PC VR. Do let me know if you're one of those people down below, and if you are using your headset mainly for PC VR, as I do see, you won't need too much storage for that. Just download Virtual Desktop and the odd standalone title here and there, and then if you do eventually run out of storage, you can always uninstall something, install the new game, and then when you're done with that, you can always install the old one back, right? Not too big of a deal. I mean, to some. To others, it's going to be a big deal. Here's a pretty crazy one. People are actually using AR from the Quest 3 in real life. A lot of these actually really cool, others pretty crazy. I'm going to leave a link to the Upload VR article down below, but just to give you a few examples, people are cooking with the Quest 3, people are doing chores with the Quest 3, and sadly it's Bradley even tried riding a bike with the Quest 3 and playing Don't Let the AR Pop-Ups Catch Up With You or You Die. Pretty fun game, honestly, I like that one. And 6 even went to a cafe in mixed reality. Pretty crazy, but honestly, I can see myself utilizing that in the future, when it's a lot thinner and a lot less funny looking. As if you walk into a cafe and you want to order something, and perhaps you want to know something more about the ingredients in a certain dish or something like that, you can look it up right there on the headset in front of you. You don't have to whip out your phone or do anything like that. Or in the future, using scanning technology, you should be able to just look at something, scan it, and hopefully it'll be able to tell you everything about that object, what's inside it, whether it has any allergens, things like that. I do think that that would be absolutely amazing. Of course, I'm going completely off track here, but just some pretty cool uses for mixed reality in real life. And talking about really cool ways in which the AR on the Quest 3 is being utilized in, check this out. This is Tekken 7 working with PreyDog's UEVR mod on the Quest 3 in full AR mode. How cool is that? Hopefully, in the future, you will be able to play flat screen 2D, well, what normally would be 2D, but with 3D textures, games right there in front of you in augmented reality. This was posted by Flat2VR on Twitter, and in case you want to read the full thread, links, of course, will be down below, as well as links to the original video. However, I find this really, really cool. Imagine being able to play any older flat screen game that you would normally play on a flat screen right there in front of you on like your couch, your tabletop, or anything like that. I think this is absolutely incredible and one use case that a lot of people would definitely love for this. Not just a gimmick, a really cool use case. Ubisoft has given us a brand new glimpse at the Assassin's Creed Nexus VR game by revealing some new gameplay, since, you know, the game is supposed to go live soon on Quest, November 16th to be exact. The video shows off all 3 Assassins in Nexus VR. We also get a better look at the game's expansive open maps that look rife with opportunities for stealth, parkour, and wandering baddies that make for ideal targets for the game's inventory of iconic AC weapons. In a news update, Ubisoft explains the stealth packages, which include blending with crowds, pickpocketing, and employing the hidden blade for silent takeovers. Parkour mechanics also seem pretty conventional for anyone who's ever played Crytek's The Climb series. Here you'll be able to scale walls, jump from rooftops, and even perform leaps of faith. In case you guys want to know more, link to the full article will be down below. But for those of you excited for Assassin's Creed Nexus to finally come out, well, you don't have to wait that much longer. And for those of you excited for the Apple Vision Pro, you may just be in luck, as a cheaper headset may just be in the works. A cheaper Apple Vision Pro headset could use iPhone chip and lack eyesight external display. Apple's in development, more affordable Vision headset could use an A-series chipset and lack eyesight. Last year, supply chain analyst Min-Chi Kuo claimed Apple was working on a more affordable, presumably non-pro version of the Vision headset. And earlier this year, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman reported that this headset could use an A-series type chipset that is used in iPhones. The A17 Pro in this year's iPhone 15 Pro models has an upgraded GPU with 6 cores that's roughly 60% as powerful as the M2's GPU. And Apple might be able to close this gap by the time the headset releases. Gurman today reports that this headset is also likely not to have the eyesight display, which, I mean, makes sense. If you're making a cheaper device, you're going to reduce the specs. You're not going to make a device that has comparable specifications to your own other device for a cheaper price, because then they're going to compete directly with each other. I mean, I'm all in for Apple making a cheaper XR headset that would hopefully be able to reach more people. I mean, you know, as I always say, where Apple goes, the industry tends to follow. And if other companies see Apple succeeding in the XR market, hopefully they'll also want to jump onto that bandwagon, and that will hopefully create competition for us, the consumers, giving us more options and more price ranges, which sounds pretty good to me. So there you guys go. That's going to be it for today's news video. Thank you all so much for joining me today. And if you guys are not yet part of our community, check out our Discord and our Reddit down below. I would love to see you joining in on there, starting up a conversation and having some fun. And thank you so much to all the amazing Patreons supporting this channel. You guys are helping me out so much right now. So seriously, much love, and thank you so much to anyone else supporting the channel in any way, shape, or form. And you guys know it. As usual, if you want to be notified of future content coming up on the channel, make sure to smack the subscribe button with your forehead, ding my bell, and see you again in the next video. Peace.